Hi, I'm Katleyn and I'm going to share my story with you. So I guess my story kind of starts out with my parents. My dad is this Canadian guy who is known to call himself redneck sometimes, and my mom is this Minnesota girl who got her college degree and kind of grew up more of a city girl. And so I guess I'm kind of like this hybrid, and I have two older siblings, so it kind of put me in this position throughout my life of kind of being mature in some ways that maybe people who weren't in my position were. And so starting out in elementary school, in my mind, I wasn't quite as mature as I kind of got in high school when it came to school-wise, but I often found that it was hard to kind of be on the inside of the circle sometimes in social ways. I don't think it was linked to the maturity thing, but I think it was just like something that was part of who I was. And so sometimes I guess that was a bit of a lonely place to be in. And then you fast forward to grade 10, and grade 10 was a really interesting year for me. God just really picked me up and did things that I wasn't expecting. And he really just conquered all the fear that I had that year and was literally like a lifesaver for me, as he has been throughout my entire life. And so after that point, I was just a lot more focused on God. It went from church being just, what we did on Sunday to church being something where I enjoyed it, and I would listen and I would pay attention. And so then going into about grade 12, I kind of started to figure out, what am I going to do? What am I going to be? Kind of around, summer after grade 12, I ended up deciding it was the best option for me to just take a year off, and I felt like that was what God wanted me to do. And so that's what I did. And I had a teacher who told me, don't take any more years off other than one, because you'll just keep on taking years off. And I was like, okay, and kind of thought that's what I would do because I like to learn. And so you fast forward to now, and I guess this is like my 4th year off, but I don't consider it like that, because what I was able to do in the last 4 years is understand what I wanted, and God really led me in understanding what I wanted to be. The last 4 or so years that I've taken off, the way that God has supplied for me, and sometimes it's been hard when people ask me what I'm doing, because I'm not getting a bachelor's degree, or I'm not, becoming a doctor, and some of those things, they sound so exciting and glamorous. But instead, I've just been able to really understand who my Father God is, and then in turn understand who I am, and it has been the greatest blessing. I was telling my brother the other day in his pickup truck, which I think is where a lot of the best conversations go down, about how, in the last year, I've seen God supply for me this kind of happiness that, before I would have said I was a happy person, but he's transformed my life to be even happier in ways that I hadn't imagined. And that honestly has just come through being with him a lot and spending a lot of time in his word, which I think is incredibly vital. It literally provides life and joy and hope and healing. But also I've had to sacrifice a lot, and I've had to give up a lot. I've been able to find greater joy in things that are so simplistic, just going to a grocery store, going for a walk. I've been able to see those things just do something different inside of me to provide me with joy that is just hard to express, that godly joy that is just you just can't put it into words. I've seen that happen, and it's only because of Jesus Christ. So I think, just to sum up my story, when I look to the future, I look to it with hope, and I don't know exactly what everything God is going to do for me, but God has conquered my fear, he's conquered my doubts, he's conquered death, he's conquered sin in my life. Like everybody else, we have fallen short of the glory of God and made mistakes, but God is entirely capable of handling every single situation and every single person. It doesn't matter what your past looks like, but it's so important to keep looking ahead. You don't drive with your head turned around looking out the rearview mirror, you look forwards.